Hello, hi everybody. Good morning and good afternoon to you. This is Cami here again from the Cloud Software Group. So welcome to our May Partner webinar. So today we have a couple of topics lined up for you. We're going to have a mixture of Citrix business unit updates and also NetScaler business unit updates. So quite a few interesting topics here, that we will be covering today. We will start off with Citrix Analytics, with how to demo and win. And then the following two topics will be NetScaler on attached business with new NetScaler gateway templates and also NetScaler observability integration that can increase your service opportunities. Then we will jump back into Citrix update on the licensing reminder, and I'll be back again to wrap up with some partner updates. So with that, let's just begin into today's webinar.
Thanks, Cami. Hi, everyone. In this session, you're not just going to hear how to demo and win with Citrix Analytics, we are also going to share real-world use cases and how to demonstrate them using Citrix Demo Center on Demo Cloud. Before we get into those real-world use cases and scenarios you can demo, we also would like to discuss which tool is the right tool for the right job and persona. One of the most common feedback we receive from customers, but also partners, is I already have Director. I already have Citrix Monitor. Why would I want to use Citrix Analytics? And it's very important to understand that Citrix Director is the tool for single session, single user, live troubleshooting, looking at real-time data when someone, for example, is calling the help desk, or when the level 1, level 2 person or administrator is looking into a certain support case. Citrix Analytics, on the other hand, understands the many different environments your customer might have. So you can connect on-premises Citrix environments as well as Citrix SaaS cloud deployments, and we will pinpoint where the anomaly in the data is. Analytics also tells a story where to first invest resources, hardware capacity resources, but also resources like workforce and administrators or architects that need to redesign or reconfigure something. HDX Insight is delivering traffic, real-time traffic, and this is something we will see in Director as well as Analytics. And ADM is used to manage and also monitor the ADCs. So we're seeing that Director is growing together and connecting with Analytics. Already as of today in Citrix Monitor, you can have a look into the data of Analytics. And vice versa, also Analytics has some of the capabilities that you have in Director. But it's important to understand that Director has a different purpose than Analytics. And why would I want to have Analytics at all? Because I already have infrastructure monitoring, might be something your customer will tell you. The data as of today exists. Data like access, identity, device information, network information, location, application insights, etc., etc. But this data needs to be unified into one single dashboard and simplified to understand what actually is going on, where the anomaly is, and what to do. Just as an example, this is what a customer's environment looked like before they had Citrix Analytics. It was a quite complex infrastructure where they needed different solutions, connect them using scripts with a lot of effort. And what we did, we moved forward to, in the first case, increase the stability. The customer was also first saying, I have infrastructure monitoring, there isn't a problem, everything looks fine. We quite often see in the real world then that when we have a look with Citrix Analytics, that the picture slightly different tells that some users are experiencing very long logon times or not good user experience. And the reason for this is that infrastructure monitoring might tell, here is a problem, or there is a small spike in resource consumption, while in reality this is one single user experiencing this. So analytics can provide the guidance, but more important, already during a POC, for example, we could demonstrate that this specific customer, that all the changes they implemented helped to improve the overall experience, the overall end user computing experience, as we say, as it's no longer static KPIs we're talking about. This is also when we look at value, a second use case to discuss. If your customer is moving forward from the on-premises world to Azure, for example, how do I right-size the environment? Are we sizing it proper? So do we have enough resources or do we have too much resources? Are the machines leveraged at all? So this could be a cost discussion, but it's also an ongoing discussion because sometimes the personas change, the image is changing, or also the reason why they even need to access the virtual desktop. Like developers all of a sudden are a new use case they need to look at, and so they are tweaking the environment. Our infrastructure metrics support telling a story about if there are overloaded machines, why they are overloaded, as well as showing if there is a certain process or if there is a certain memory leak consuming all the resources. And this all without the need to install any agents, because the Workspace app, the VDA, the delivery controller, these are all our agents already in place. Citrix Analytics allows then also to create custom reports with this data, so that's ready consumed data already in there. By the way, this is also something IDC recently in one of the reports stated, that Citrix is delivering value to our customers, and this is also measurable. So you can work with your customer, you can work with our value engineering team to create such a value estimate of what this actually means in a dollar amount, like when we talk about reduced service costs. And cost efficiency was also one of the reasons why this hospital in Denmark was looking to adopt Citrix Analytics, because they were wondering, do we forget sometimes machines in maintenance mode? Are the machines maybe not shut down by the contractors and running 24/7? And this is a very compelling use case we hear in the real world that you can demonstrate also using Demo Center. Our experience says that between 5 to 10% of the machines overall are in the most environments forgotten in maintenance mode, running 24/7 without adoption at all. And even if it's an on-premises environment, the resources, the CPU cycles, and the access to the shared storage can be used more meaningful by machines that actually need those resources. And when we talk about reducing service costs and support costs, it's not just analytics for performance, it's also analytics for security. In this case, an Austrian service provider was providing an application hosting infrastructure for third-party contractors where a lot of security restrictions were in place. So what they did, they removed some of those restrictions. They made it easier to work while at the same time increasing security. So no longer those contractors had to raise a support case for certain permissions. No longer they were blocked from working, so loss of productivity. And at the same time, the support teams had time for real support cases and not just assigning permissions. And this reduced the overall support costs while it increased the productivity. And user experience is key to success. So if you imagine sitting there and are willing just to flip open the laptop for a 5-minute task to get the job done, and you are ensured that this will instantly work and log you on and be ready at your fingertips, then this is what Citrix Analytics helps you to ensure, that the user experience is the best possible in the certain environment. So all you need to do, get into the driver's seat and take action yourself. Demonstrate the value and those use cases you just saw in Citrix Analytics within Citrix Demo Center. all you need to do is go to demo.citrix.com, and in here you can request access to our read-only Citrix Analytics tenant, which is actually monitoring the Citrix Demo Cloud. So all the demos you are running in demo.cloud.com are being recorded and monitored within Citrix Analytics. All the data from Citrix employees is also going into there. So this means that you have real-world data, and you also can add this real-world data just by simply demoing content yourself. If your customer then liked what you demonstrated, the second step would be a POC, a trial for Citrix Analytics, when they have identified a use case and see value in it. It's very simple and fast forward. It takes less than 60 minutes normally to onboard an existing on-premises environment or a Citrix DaaS environment. And with that, Cami, back to you.
Thank you, Cami. Hello, I'm Jason Poole, and I'm here today to share with you some of the new things that will help you deliver more value to your customers and accelerate your attach rate of NetScaler in your DaaS accounts and beyond. First of all, I want to start with a very powerful statistics. 73%. 73% of NetScaler units sold are placed in front of a Citrix farm. And that is a staggering amount. And we've all done a great job over the years of positioning NetScaler as the front door to Citrix. Now, that does not mean that 73% of NetScaler business comes from attached sales, or even that 73% of the value of NetScaler is that it sits in front of Citrix. This data comes from the call home and the support bundle data, and thus it may be a little skewed by a variety of different things. However, that said, I think we can all acknowledge that NetScaler in front of Citrix has been a good business for all of us. And we've also found that partners who actively promote NetScaler into their accounts regularly add 20 to 30% more revenue to a DaaS deal, and also increase their services revenues quite substantially also. Now, over the years, I've created a list of the value add reasons to pitch NetScaler in front or as the front end to Citrix to help sellers and partners offer better solutions to their customers as well as increase their sales revenues. And I usually settled on about 10 reasons and used to present it a lot back in the day when I was in readiness. And the thing is that the reasons are still relevant today. NetScaler provides and has always provided the most secure access to Citrix with the ICA proxy. The intelligent health monitoring and load balancing has provided HA to the management plane, the components like Storefront, desktop delivery controllers, XML brokers, and whatever. And that includes the failover between sites with global server load balancing. And of course, Smart Access and Smart Control deliver unparalleled contextual control over users' activities, allowing admins to dynamically switch on or off any of the Citrix functionality like printing, drive mapping, or even cut and paste, depending on the circumstances and the user. And that can all happen automatically. And that's a very powerful story to tell with NetScaler and the Citrix DaaS solutions. And of course, HDX Insight and Gateway Insight have made Citrix admin jobs much easier over the last few years with faster troubleshooting and capacity planning, and that's since these features came in way back in the day. Now, the slide on the right of this screen is that was a staple for our sellers and our partners over the years, the 10 reasons, and each one will flip around to give you more details, and it's all wrapped up in the bow of single vendor solution. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned previously, the reverse statistic from the previous slide does not hold true. 73% of Citrix deployments are not fronted necessarily by a NetScaler. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. No remote access requirements, VPN tools already in place, or customer prefers vendor X, or whatever. And of course, while some of the work has been taken on by delivery from Citrix Cloud, and remote access is driven more towards gateway service, which is a NetScaler in disguise, by the way, many customers still keep their management plane on-prem and love the value that NetScaler delivers. So why aren't all those customers not using NetScaler? Well, one of the reasons that has come to light from partners recently is that it's too complicated. We are Citrix people and don't understand networking, so we don't position the NetScaler Gateway or the NetScaler as the front end for the Citrix farms that we deploy. Well, worry no more. We have the complexity taken care of. Now, since our privatization, we said that we're going to be customer and partner driven in our development, and we have created some new tools to simplify NetScaler deployments, making them faster, easier, and more standardized for our partners. And with these new tools, less experienced NetScaler partners, those that perhaps are more focused on end-user compute, can handle NetScaler Gateway deployments with ease. So partners can deliver a customized and branded remote access solution document to their customers with greater control, flexibility, and expandability than anything else that you care to mention. And we've produced 3 standardized deployment templates that cater for the vast majority of deployments we see and reduce the deployment time from days to minutes. Now, the templates are written design guides and the associated command lines required to get your customer functional. They're all based on feedback we've had from partners and customers alike about what's popular. And all the guides are verified by NetScaler and have been thoroughly tested by our CTP community and given the thumbs up. Now, this is the first step on the road to an even simpler deployment, as customers tell us they want to keep their Citrix environments on-prem, and they want it to be easy to set up and deliver with NetScaler. So future iterations of these guides will focus on automating this even further and hopefully get this whole thing put into Studio so you, as partners, don't have to touch the NetScaler itself. And that, I think, is very exciting news indeed. So why are we doing this? Well, it's simple. It's about simplification. NetScaler wants to make it easier for our sellers and our partners promote and sell our solutions. Absolutely. If we can make this so simple that all our partners can deploy this, then the sellers at those partners can be assured that they can actively sell the complete solution and make NetScaler sticky in those accounts and deliver the best value to the customers. More than this, it can make a huge difference to partners. If you start to promote the NetScaler as the delivery platform of choice for customers, a few things can happen. One, you'll make more revenue from attached sales. This is a given and something that we all know works. The actual increase varies, but generally in the 10 to 30% increase in deal size. And this is great news for partners that want to achieve platinum status, for example. It means you don't have to find more deals, just sell more in the deals you have. And 2, you'll see an uptick in services revenue. Many partners make a great deal of hay from the implementation services of Citrix, but have shied away from deploying NetScaler. The guides provide a start-to-finish implementation for specific business use cases that customers are actively implementing, and this allows you to accelerate and simplify the design process. The designs are freely available, and partners can customize them with customer-specific additions and even rebrand them to create tailored solutions for their individual accounts. And there's good revenue from remote access deployments, and partners should not be leaving it on the table. You want to be selling the complete Citrix solution, including NetScaler. Now, you may choose to move along the route of gateway service, and some customers may indeed prefer this, but there's not as much to be made from that. There's no add-on sales of NetScaler, which will get you into the account. And getting NetScaler into the account is the first step, and something that these new templates will certainly help you do. and you need to make Netscaler sticky, and it's not just for remote access. Sell the whole value of Netscaler. Talk about the HA and scalability that it brings to the Citrix environments. Discuss the benefits of smart access and how it gives the customer complete automated control over the security of their entire Citrix environment. Talk about and demonstrate the power of HDX Insight and Gateway Insight. And once you have these tools positioned in your customers, then they're tied into you. You are the trusted partner. And it's much easier to demonstrate the value of the devices you've sold. $40,000, for example, for a pair of devices to provide remote access to Citrix is not as good value as $50,000 for a pair of devices that provide remote access, ensures high availability, secures the environment in ways the customer didn't know was possible, and accelerates and simplifies troubleshooting for user issues. And we've seen this time and time again at customers. Customers who are using the Netscaler for more than just remote access are much happier to buy and buy more from you. Now, more than this, you can start to promote the benefits of the smart access-like functionality, turning the printing off and stuff, for all their applications with secure private access. No other ZTNA solution can do that. Similarly, you can start discussing the consolidation of all their VPN access into SPA, as well as providing the HA, optimization, and security for all those other applications. And this will drive your customers to bigger devices and more services for sure. You'll start to have customers who won't say, my Citrix is behind a Netscaler, but rather all my apps are behind a Netscaler. And that's when you are truly valued in that account, and you can start to make inroads into much larger revenue deals. So what should you do next? Well, and I'm aware that this audience is more commercial in orientation, so when I asked you to go and look at the guides, I suggested as something that you make your technical teams aware of. I'm not suggesting that you read and understand them, but maybe you will. I would suggest that you map out your accounts for the rest of the year in terms of what's renewing, and then work out which don't have Netscaler today, and make a plan to how you might position it. Firstly, for the Citrix environment, but also beyond the Citrix apps. And you can work with your partner PSMs to help do this. And we'll cover more of this going forward as we delve into the wonderful world that is Netscaler. Well, that wraps it up from me for this slot. Back to you, Cami. Thank you, Cami. As system architectures increase in complexity and scale, IT teams face mounting pressure to track and respond to conditions and issues across their multi-cloud environments. As a result, IT operations, DevOps, and SRE teams are all looking for greater observability into these increasingly diverse and complex computing environments. But what does this mean? What is observability and why is it important? And what can it actually help organizations achieve? Why, of course, is Netscaler central to an offering that you can put together? And what's new? And why do you need to care? I hope to answer many, if not all of these, over the next 10 minutes. But before we go too far, let's level set here. Observability is the ability to measure a system's current state based on the data it generates, such as logs, metrics, and traces. It's about collating all sorts of telemetry from a lot of different sources, endpoints, and services, and trying to piece together what's going on so that decisions can be made about how effectively things are running, or finding and fixing problems quickly. But we've been doing this for years. What's new here? Well, it's true we have been monitoring things with Netscaler and looking at logs and SMP traps forever, but observability is more than just monitoring the state of applications. It helps you to be prepared for unknown unknowns. Observability is the evolution of monitoring into a process that offers insight into digital business applications, speeds innovation, and enhances customer experience. These are big words from Gartner, no less, but actually it is different, and it really does provide more helpful information from all the data. It draws upon a wealth of tools to refine the data and present actionable insight into what's happening and why, even if new scenarios occur which have not been previously considered. It is a huge topic in all customers today, and a conversation that everyone wants to have with their vendors. Observability becomes even more important when we're looking at cloud-native applications with their highly distributed and ephemeral nature. Hence, every microservice is doing its own thing and communicating with other services, and while this has many advantages, I think that troubleshooting issues early and easily is not one of them. It's truly like finding a needle in a haystack. And the admins need to know exactly what's happening every step of the way in order to stand any chance of ensuring things work well. In October 21, Gartner published findings that showed observability is a huge growth area for businesses as they seek to discover more about their systems in their digital transformation. In fact, they say that by 2024, 1/3 of companies will have adopted observability techniques, and that is a 3x increase over 2020. So the conversation is most definitely there to have. So why am I telling you this? Well, as I said, the conversation is definitely there to have, and you have a great tool in your arsenal to have it if you're not already. And as a CSG partner, you can sell NetScaler. And as an ADC, NetScaler sits in a unique position in the network to gather telemetry and provide visibility. As an agentless tool, there are very few other products that can compare to the amount of data that NetScaler gathers. Even among the ADC vendors, NetScaler is an industry leader. And remember that the NetScaler telemetry is across the application, the infrastructure, the network, and the security. And this is all valuable information your customers want. This is from one tool. Now, not only does NetScaler collect the raw data, but it will analyze the data to provide meaningful insight into what's going on. And you'll know from previous webinars on ADM that NetScaler provides built-in dashboards that help businesses define and enforce strong SSL policies and continuously monitors deviations. Similarly, Web Transaction Insight and API Insight provide detailed knowledge of exactly what's happening in a customer's environment. And I can't iterate strongly enough that this is vital information that customers want, and you can provide it to them. Now, collecting the data is great, and NetScaler has ADM to interrogate and visualize that insight, but customers want to use the tools that they're already using to gain a consolidated view. And here NetScaler triumphs again. NetScaler integrates with most observability tools, both open source and vendor source. Splunk, Prometheus, Elasticsearch, Zipkin, that's just a few. And most of this integration is as a result of the great work we've done with cloud native development, where observability, as I said, is even more important. So you'll see more in that area. However, Splunk is pretty much universal. And that's one of the things that we're working on right now. We're working on two. The first is this deeper integration with Splunk. In the past, we've been able to send data to Splunk from NetScaler, which is great, SNMP, logs, traps, and so on. But now we're taking this further. NetScaler ADM will start to send insight to Splunk. That is, not just the raw data, but the results of the ADM analysis. And so why does this matter? Well, Splunk is kind of the de facto standard for observability. Certainly around security, everyone's using it. It's taken on an almost mythical quality and reverence in the industry. And if information's not available there, then it's not really available in the eyes of many of its users. And this new integration means that all of the precious insight that ADM creates will be for the whole business to view. The ADM dashboards will feature in the central repository for the whole company, not just the NetScaler admins. And this makes it more important for the rest of the business, because if they're making decisions based on the excellent telemetry that NetScaler produces, it means that more value can be realized from the NetScaler, which makes it stickier in your accounts. It also means, by the way, that NetScaler admins do not have to provide access to all the interested parties into ADM, because that could be a massive administrative overhead. Rather, they can just push it to their Splunk interface and let the company worry about who gets access to what. Now, if Splunk is the big blue, Prometheus is the up-and-coming star. It's different from Splunk, but provides equally valuable insight to the business. And here, NetScaler is now able to directly export telemetry to Prometheus. In the past, when it was very tightly aligned to our cloud-native story, as it still is, the Citrix Observability Exporter was required. And this was like a little translator tool from NetScaler to Prometheus and other things. And now that's no longer needed. It means it's one fewer device to manage. So the lifecycle doesn't matter. If the container for the COE, the Citrix Observability Exporter, you don't need that anymore. It also means that's one less step to take. So there's less risk of data loss that can occur in high traffic environments, which will please the customers and the admins. Similarly, if you don't have to use a container-based environment, you can potentially open up the use of Prometheus to NetScalers outside that microservices applications. And these are both exciting developments that I believe your customer will like. So what does it mean for you as NetScaler partners? Well, we've seen in the past that some customers will make a decision about what ADC to purchase based on the integrations it has with their existing backend systems. And that's fair, or even a little difficult to swallow at first. Hopefully, this will mean that you should see less obstruction to winning deals in the future. Indeed, this is very prevalent in the cloud-native environments we deal with. The tighter integration with Prometheus will undoubtedly lend even more credibility to NetScaler's prowess as an observability tool that delivers more intelligence to the observability endpoints with its wealth of telemetry that's now even more freely available. Indeed, you might start to explore the use of NetScaler as the foundations, perhaps, of a troubleshooting service in your accounts. Certainly the telemetry's there. We know that if you take your consulting team, they will find issues, and the solution to these issues is likely to be more consulting services and new products. So this is a potentially new area of revenue for your business. So what should you do? Next steps, well, probably the cloud-native areas of your accounts. They represent largely untapped potential for you. Maybe not, but generally for NetScaler customers and Citrix partners, NetScaler partners and Citrix partners, they are largely untouched at this time and will be happy hunting grounds because nearly all of your accounts will have projects ongoing with cloud native and microservices, and you should seek out the platform teams in your accounts and start to discuss the powers of NetScaler as an observability tool. Get your tech teams to demo the integrations and bring the intelligence that NetScaler brings to the endpoints is actually amazing, and all without agents. Now there's a lot of potential with cloud native in your accounts, as I said. Certainly where we have engaged with customers, we've had several wins over the last year. Some really good sized deals working with partners. Now, sure, for many of you, it's a learning curve, but it's the same for the customers as well. So you're no worse off, and it's worth having a conversation about observability as a lead into the more general cloud native and microservices environments. And you can start that by getting NetScaler established in your accounts, and that will help you expand into these new areas that obviously your customers' businesses see as very strategically important. There is certainly a lot going on in the IT world right now, and observability is sitting at the heart of it. NetScaler brings so much weight to bear in this realm, and you should certainly look at ways that you can tap into it more. Thank you very much, and back to you, Cami.
Thanks, Cami. I'm Nigel Simpson from the Global Partner Enablement team, and today I just need a few minutes to remind you about the Citrix telemetry licensing. So in mid-October 2022, Cloud Software Group made changes regarding licensed telemetry for on-premises customer-managed environments which use the Citrix license server. Starting with license server 11.17.2 build 40,000, the on-premises customer managed license server software started requiring the collection of limited license telemetry data to Citrix for license compliance. Now, with this change, Cloud Software Group is aligning the reporting of license telemetry data for on-prem products with the standard reporting provided in cloud services where the data is automatically collected and enforced as a part of the service delivery. Now, all Citrix products and services will support license telemetry. The license telemetry changes will affect all products that use the license server, which include Citrix Workspace App, Citrix Virtual Apps, Citrix Virtual Desktops, Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops, and Storefront. Now, automated license telemetry reporting will be required for all customers except those with non-standard terms not encompassing the requirement. Customers who have blocked automated license telemetry payload traffic on their firewall will need to update their rules to allow for such traffic or submit regular manual reporting uploads of telemetry data. For customers who cannot report licenses automatically due to being in an isolated network environment, a process is available for the customer to manually collect and upload the license telemetry data on a regular basis. The required date for licensing telemetry data to be enabled was 31st of March 2023. Customers now have until the 30th of June this year to be compliant or achieve exception status. Now, as partners play a key role in Citrix product deployments, what we're asking of you all is to train and enable your customers on the new requirements, follow Cloud Software Group's recommended practices on the deployment of the new license server to ensure uploads are enabled, and work with Cloud Software Group on addressing license usage beyond purchased entitlements. License telemetry data reporting is very limited in nature and only involves the collection of the telemetry data necessary for our legitimate business interests, including license compliance. This process has been designed to conform to the requirements of the European Union General Data Protection Regulation, as well as other applicable global data protection laws. Customers may review more information about license telemetry reporting, including specific data elements collected for this purpose, in the product documentation. Customers seeking an exception to these reporting requirements based on unique business needs will need to apply for an exception. These will be granted on a very limited basis. The data collected will be limited to the telemetry data necessary to confirm license compliance and managed through the Citrix license server. We've created documentation that details the new licensing telemetry program and the data elements being collected. Please have a look at the link in the slide above. So, what do customers need to do? Customers are required to update to the latest version of the Citrix license server if they've not already done so, and continue to regularly update the license server software within 6 months of new license server releases. Deploying the new license server is straightforward and designed not to impact production or non-production systems. These releases are compatible with LTSR or CR deployments. More details can be found in the FAQ document in this slide, and if you require technical assistance with this issue, please contact Citrix Technical Support. Finally, if you've got any further questions, please reach out to your Citrix account representative or customer service for more details. And with that, back to you, Cami.
Thank you so much. Let's actually wrap up today's sessions on the various topics that we have. So just a quick reminder on my side would be the PND, right? So we said on every of our webinars that the PND link is something that you should bookmark on Sales IQ. So please do take note of that as we are sending out all our regular partners update announcements on our skill changes, price changes, what are all our solution changes on the PND. So I just want to recap that that's a very important link for you to bookmark. Okay. So I'm just looking at the question. Yes, we will be sharing the slide after this session. Please wait for early next week where we will be sending out the post event update. So we will be sending out the recording link and the slides. And yes, with the link on it. Yes, we will actually. So another question is, there is a request of the link within the slides. Yes, we will get through the slides with the link on it. All right. Okay. And there is a question with regards to any plans for Citrix Summit. I think there are plans for some form of other in terms of meetings on Citrix Summit, but it might be on a smaller scale, and it's still work in progress in the planning with the global team. So once we have more information, we will come back, definitely let you know about that. Okay, so I think that's a couple of the questions on that. So thank you so much for your time today. So if you have any other further questions, please come back to us as well. So wish everybody have a good day. That's all from us for this month. See you soon. Thank you.